LUMS was approved by the government of Pakistan, and the charter was given in 1985. SDSB is the oldest school at LUMS. Our MBA program is based on case method. We have a collection of more than 850 cases which have been written by our faculty members in the last 3 decades. SDSB has a key role in the evolution and the shaping of business landscape in Pakistan by virtue of our emphasis on efficacy and efficiency of management practices, relevance of management education to the business landscape in Pakistan, our emphasis not only on the financial bottom line, but also on the social and environmental bottom line, and our emphasis on the development of individuals who have the right intellectual capital and integrity to serve public and private sector organizations in Pakistan and abroad. The quality of faculty which we have at the SDSB is second to none. We have got the largest collection of foreign qualified PhD in business. We have got 45 or 46 faculty members who have a PhD from abroad, from some of the most reputable universities in the world. And indeed, the quality of students in terms of quality of intake, we have the highest quality of student recruitment within our MBA, undergrad and PhD programs. So when students, they come to us, in addition to indeed their training in our routine academic courses, they are exposed to 3 interconnected components of experiential learning.
We took the inspiration from the Harvard Business School as well. How did they bring the perspective of the industry into the classroom setting? And we also introduced experiential learning component. So I think where we differentiate from other business schools is that we do bring the industry perspective, not only by bringing the CEOs in our classrooms, but also sending the students to the industry so that they can have a deeper understanding of the issues the industry is facing, the companies is facing, and then we also send them to other components of experiential learning to perform some consulting.
We started working on this realizing that the industry needs few more sort of traits and behaviors of our students, including their entrepreneurial mindset, including the deeper understanding of sectors, and also a kind of their skills on problem solving and decision making. And when we started looking at it, we thought of adding 3 different components to the MBA program, and we started aligning the whole thing. We started from EL1, which is called Experiential Learning 1, and in that process students learned about 10 different sectors, and they were able to reposition themselves, and the objective was to actually work on 2 different things. One is their knowledge base, their skill set, and on the other hand, how to realign their attitudes with the requirement of the industry. So somehow this was the first phase of the program.
Right at the beginning of their MBA, we are grounding them in the real business real businesses of Pakistan. So they understand that what are the different ways of doing business in Pakistan, what are the different challenges of doing business in Pakistan, what are various opportunities that they can sometime in future latch on to, they can base their own businesses on.
EL1, as I said before, is a very important component of experiential learning program. Experiential learning 1 is about industry diagnostic, that students try to analyze the external environment of organizations which are working in that particular industrial sector. And the second objective is that they focus on a few organizations in that sector and identify the challenges which are faced by those organizations in the sector.
frankly, I was a fresh graduate when I went into my MBA program. And when I went out and got my first salary, I had no idea how to write a check. And so I had to ask my father on how to write a check, despite the fact that I had done an MBA. But I think this brings me to the concept of this, like experiential learning that the students are now facing. I've been part of that. I've visited and attended a couple of presentations and all that the students have been doing on different industries. And I think that's tremendous, because once these guys go in the industry, this is nothing foreign for them. They'll be too comfortable in this industry, and I think they're too rooted in the local environment, which is the purpose of an MBA.
Yeah, I think one has to be very clear when we say that we are producing leaders of tomorrow. What do we mean by that? The way we have approached our role at LUMS, and I go back to '87 when I joined LUMS, the objective was to be engaged in an activity where we develop those people who create the future for this country. And by that we meant at that time people who have the energy, the commitment, the skills, and the attitude to go out and create a positive socio-economic impact by changing the way things are done, by making an improvement for betterment of everyone. So this has been the objective from day one. And as I think probably everybody knows, LUMS started with the MBA program. So that has been the key focus of the MBA program from day one. The core idea of experiential learning is to take this practical orientation from an in-class discussion to the students spending more time within the company, on the company locations. We had this in the earlier phases also through a second year MBA project where students would work as consultants. But during that project, students would continue to actually take courses, and their engagement was somewhat limited because of the work that they had to do within the university. So with this realization, there were a number of new components introduced in the MBA program as part of this experiential learning sort of initiative, I would say. The first was that from day one, when the student comes, we should get them immersed in one specific industry sector as a group, so that they get to understand that. And this was called experiential learning.
One reason I got connected to EL program at LUMS was that I'm not an Luminite. So I did apply for LUMS back in my academic days. Didn't go through because because LUMS back then has, and I'm sure it still is a requirement that you need to have a working experience. And then I realized that I couldn't, of course, fulfill that back in the day, and I had to move on faster. And today I realize that, especially working in the digital space, what I realize is that the digital economy and the knowledge economy requires a lot of skill set which is not part of the conventional curriculum and can't be taught in the conventional way. And it has to be done, it's more like a lifelong learning experience, and it has to be done on the spot all the time as part of the job, and that is something which can't be avoided in today's world. So whatever you want to achieve in the next few years, that is something which is not part of the conventional mindset and the conventional curriculum and the conventional way of teaching. So I think EL1 is EL is probably the best way to bring students into that loop and into getting them experience that while working and being part of the academia before they even graduate and then go to either to the corporate world or to start their own initiatives. So I think my personal experience helped me understand the importance of experiential learning very much, and that's why I got involved with that.
So I think that what this initiative is just fantastic. It is that the divide and the gap between theory and practical is being bridged. Such an experiential learning MBA will be a more focused product, less nonsense, and just more spot on.
In EL1, you primarily work with local industries, primarily 2-3 companies. What happens is that because people primarily work in MNCs, they don't have the local industry knowledge. With the local knowledge you already have, I think you get to understand that what opportunities exist in the market and what are the gaps over there which you can fill.
I think one of the most important things when it comes to this MBA program is the change that they have brought about in this MBA program. Before it was more academic. Now from this year they've started to make it very experiential. So basically you get to learn about things and analytical skills hands-on.
Our vision states that we envision this school to be a leading management school in the South Asian and Gulf region. And we would like to leave a lasting footprint on the practice, sustainability, and relevance of management practices, which are not only for the betterment of our organizations and individuals, but also for the betterment of wider society.